Hi everyone, I'm Rachel, and this is Musical Artists, a Conversation. On today's podcast episode, we have Schenay joining us today. Schenay Mosley is a singer, songwriter, and producer from Dayton, Ohio, currently based in Chicago. Today, we'll be talking about her upbringing in music, her transformation from performing in her own bands to singing backup to pursuing her own solo career, and what exciting creative projects she has in store for the future. Hi Schenay, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm good. I was just researching a bunch, obviously, on you and your background, so I'm really excited to do this interview because you have a ton.
Yeah.
I was really impressed. Obviously, we always like to kind of start out, which I'm sure you always talk about in interviews, but your background in music, I know you've said before that your mom gifted you a keyboard at 4 years old, and since six you were put into piano lessons. So I was just wondering if you could talk a little bit more about what it was like being so involved in music at such a young age.
Yeah. I kind of found music at a young age and just, I don't know, I used to always press on the tables and act like I was playing piano. And one of my mother's friends was like, you should get her a keyboard. So from then on, we just kind of clicked. And I don't know, it's just something I've always been drawn to. And when I was six, we had little lessons we took in school, and I was excelling, and I was trying to teach the other kids how to play. And the teacher was like, oh. And she told my mother, you should get her into actual, real lessons. And it just kind of took off from there.
And did your parents always support? And I know that you said that your dad is a DJ and your cousins are involved in also making beats, and obviously your mom put you in these lessons. So I guess have they always supported you from the beginning, and how has that transformed into what their support looks like today?
Yeah, they've always supported me. My dad used to have not a work stop, a workstation in his basement, and my older cousin would go down there, install Fruity Loops, and make beats. And that's how I learned how to make beats. I would just mimic what he made. And my dad DJ'd throughout college. He doesn't do it super professionally, but he does get paid to DJ at certain events and stuff. So I will say it is a side project of his that he does get paid for. And he's always played different various types of music growing up. And my mom always pushed for that. Because at 13, I wanted to quit. I was like, I'm tired of this. I feel like I'm not good. And she was like, no, that is your moneymaker. You are not quitting. So
Mhm.
they've always supported me. They've always supported me when I've grown up. There were some little times in my 20s or when things kind of looked shaky. And she was kind of like, okay, so what are you doing? Make sure you have a backup plan. And I was like, well, I have a degree. So it's there's a backup plan there, but they've always been supportive. There's times where it's kind of all right, what you doing? But I know my dad's always been supportive. Mom's always been supportive, but she's had her mom moments of okay, baby, get you a good job. But they 100% support me.
That's amazing. So were they even supportive when you chose to obviously move to Chicago? You went to Columbia for business and entrepreneurship, and you did some music business. Did they like that, or what was the vibe?
Honestly, my mom wanted me to go to the University of Toledo because I
Mm,
had a little scholarship. It wasn't even huge. And I'm just like, I don't want to stay in Ohio.
yeah.
Ohio's cool, but it's not I don't know, it's okay. My dad was kind of pushing me to go to Berkeley,
Okay.
but I kind of got in my own way with that because I was like, Berkeley's 50K a year. I'm not about to go in debt. I was just thinking of my debt, and I felt I have debt now. I went to Columbia. I graduated from Columbia, but I feel with Berkeley, I would have been 100K in debt. And so I'm just
Yeah, definitely.
I could go back now and get a certification, but I'm glad I chose Columbia. One of my friends in high school, we took printmaking class. I went to an arts high school, so we had electives. I took printmaking. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to Columbia. They have an open enrollment. I was like, open enrollment? My grades weren't horrible, but it was just I didn't have a 3.7 in
Mhm.
high school. So I was just like, okay, I'll go there. It's artistic. You work in your field in the first year. You actually get into it. That's why I'm like, okay, I'll do that. And I just fell in love with the school. So
Yeah. How did moving to the city impact your music?
greatly. Right when I came to the city, I was like, oh, I like to be in a band. Because this guy named Holly, I met him in the UC, the University Center.
Mm-hmm.
I met him there. He's like, yeah, I do beats. And I know a girl named Luna, and she's auditioning for a girl band. So I auditioned for the band. I wanted to sing, but they said, we have enough singers you could play keys. I'm like, okay. And then that kind of shaped my musical palettes when I first got to Chicago was being in an all-girl band named She. and
Hmm.
we did our thing, changed our name to Highness, and like we were in Afro punk. Like that was kind of like the start of me getting into the industry because we had our own nights at the Shrine when that was a club back in the day. It was
Hmm.
by Reggie's, and we had our own nights. We started opening up for like Rashad Patterson, Eric Roberson, and we were just kind of taking off from there. So
Yeah.
they really shaped my musicianship.
Is there a music scene like that in Ohio at all?
I will say in Dayton,
Mhm.
we were the church scene was really heavy.
Okay.
Like teen groups, teen choirs, church acts. Like I was in that scene and we were activists as well. And I would say the spoken word scene in Dayton is really popping, but I'm kind of removed from the Dayton scene. I know I have a few homies out there like Sierra Beckham, Dre Peace, he's in Columbus, that do music out there and they're really killing it. But I know
Mhm.
Columbus has a bigger scene than Dayton.
Okay. Makes sense. I mean, you already mentioned that you were in some bands and
Oh yeah,
especially
yeah.
in college that like kickstarted performing live and everything. And since then, you've been able to sing backup and play keys for artists like Adam Ness, Smino, Leon Bridges. You performed like at Coachella and Lollapalooza and all of that. So, what does that all mean to you? Like being able to perform live, especially starting from some smaller venues to like what you've been able to do now, I guess, how's that influenced you in any type of way?
It's put things into perspective like I can do this as a solo
Hmm.
artist because I've seen the mechanics and I've seen how you have to have a nice team behind you and you kind of have to be not kind of you have to be clear-headed as an artist on
Hmm.
what you want and be sure and confident, and I hadn't always had the confidence, but it also means to me that it's like I thank God for blessing me with those situations and that I'm grateful that I practice and develop my talents where I was able to be invited and
Hmm.
to perform at those places and stick around and just have those experiences. I'm very grateful.
Was it scary at first stepping into all of that?
I think Coachella was the most nervous I've been
Yeah.
because it was like that was a lot of people. That was the most people I've ever performed in front of. And I get to shaking like that adrenaline stuff is real. Like you can like
Yeah.
be performing right, but it's like the body's doing something. So
Yeah.
that was scary. I will admit. And then I opened up. I did the Red Bull Music Festival as
Yeah.
well. That was nerve wracking. I sounded great, but I could not like. I hope no one noticed. My hand was literally just trembling the whole time.
Yeah.
Lord have mercy.
I mean, at least you can say that you've done it now, so
Yeah.
nothing scary, I feel like. You also have your own music career, as I mentioned before. You've released some singles and EPs. And so I know that you classify yourself under an umbrella term of an alternative R&B artist, but if you could describe your style a little bit more detailed, what words would you use to do that?
I would use slightly otherworldly rhythm and blues and funk. Like I
Hmm.
always have like funk and soul as like the basis of what I do. But I do like to go into other spheres and I do like to dabble into like electronic music or just other polyrhythmic musics and kind of bring it back to that alternative R&B umbrella so it makes sense because
Okay.
I do like world music influences as well too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll say folk, funk, and R&B, like those three: folk, funk, R&B, and soul. Those four.
I know you just released a single, Play Me Out, in 2024, and you've stated that that's one of the first off of your upcoming project when it all goes away. So, would you say, I guess, what styles are you incorporating in that project?
Similar to Play Me Out. Like I have
Okay.
a few guitar heavy songs, and I'm just going back to what feels natural. Because I feel like in the past I was trying to be like super urban or anything, but it's like I'm just really into my alternative indie sound. And like I made those songs years ago, like during the pandemic, which is crazy. And it's like the fact that, Beyonce has her Cowboy Carter thing, then the Sinners movie came out, and I just feel like that music is in alignment with what's recently been out. Like that's kind of where I was at. But I was just like afraid to really put it out. That's why Play Me Out is just so impactful to me. I'm like, I love this. This is a simple guitar riff, and I'm like, this is nice. Like, let me actually finish this.
Mhm.
So yes, the project is along those lines. I'll say if you were to compare it to an artist, it would be like Sade,
Okay.
Lovers Rock album.
Yeah.
It's that
Oh,
vibe. with
Cool.
songs.
And you said that you wrote these like a while ago. What made you want to start releasing it now?
Cause like when I listen to it, I don't not I listen to it, it's like I'm actually listening to it. Like, oh, let me play this. Oh, I want to hear this. I'm not
Yeah.
listening to it to critique. Like it's just easy listening. So now it's like, okay, it's time to put it out. It's ready to be put out. That's how I go about releasing music. If I feel like, oh, I need to tweak that. It's like, it's not ready just yet.
Yeah.
And it's just time. It just feels the most natural. It's like I'm not forcing anything. It just is. Like I'm vibing out. This is what I came up with. It feels really great. And
Mhm.
I'm like really excited to just share it with people.
I know you've already released like an EP in 2020 called Silk Cashmere and everything. Would you say
Mhm.
it was kind of the same timeline where you're like, it's just ready to be out? Or were you kind of more strict on like, I need to write this and this by then, have it out by then?
I was way more strict. Like Silk Cashmere, that was me dabbling into like just heavy R&B, like just
Hmm.
strictly R&B. I wanted to see how people would respond to it.
Hmm.
And I feel like people liked it. But the EP I had before that was my very first one. It was called Lotus. That I
Hmm.
completely produced that with the help of my friends Paige and Boyan. They played bass and guitar on some songs. That was completely just raw energy. I wasn't trying to sound like mainstream, and it kind of like people liked it. I actually like did shows off of it, but I did take it off streaming because I was like subconscious because it just felt so like baby raw. And I probably need to have a filter on it. So then that Silk Cashmere was me. Let me put a filter on this music. Let me sound like R&B. Let me try to sound urban. I was trying to sound like Summer Walker and like those type of artists. Like, let me go in that lane. And now when we're at this project, when it all goes away, with the title is called When It All Goes Away, because I'm like, I'm letting go of all of that overthinking and anxiety with music and with everything. And it's like, no, this is what feels good for me. So I still have R&B elements, of course, but this
Hmm.
project is just strictly me without the overthinking.
What do you think helped you get to that point of letting go, not overthinking anymore?
Me getting tired of being in my own way
Mm.
and having a great support system of artists around me. Because I'm like, is it good? They be like, yeah, it's fine. Like, put out what you want to put out. You know,
Mhm.
and then being around great creators that's like, okay, you made this song, that's what it sounds like, that's fine. You made that song, that's what it sounds like, that's fine. It's like being confident in what you're doing.
Mhm.
Like how Rihanna has all these different eras and it's like 10 different genres and like it's just it's her. Yes, she had an EDM album. Yes, this is a trap album. Yes, this is that. Yes, this is that. But it makes sense and no one's questioning it. So it's like why with me, why am I like freaking out? I just have to have people to remind me like just chill out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does being in control and like enjoying producing, writing, singing, and also with like your music videos, you've also directed and co-directed some of those. Does that help you kind of like be more confident in what you're making?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sucks. It does. It sounds like oh control, but it's like it does help me be more confident. But with music lately, I have been wanting to outsource more with production. I like to co-produce, still produce almost everything myself, but it just takes like the mental load off because it
Mhm.
is overwhelming as an artist just trying to do everything.
Mhm.
So it's like I do like to outsource, but still have my hand in every single thing.
Yeah. I think it's really cool that you are able to like have your vision in all these different aspects, not even just like sonically, but even with again the visuals and everything.
Mhm.
Um, I know you also just recently starred in a movie that's out on Tubi called Love, Murder, Weed. Have you always been interested in acting? Like I know we were talking about music videos and stuff, but is this outside of music also in your realm?
Yeah, so I did theater as a
Oh,
little
wow.
bit as a child. That was through church. Like a lot of things, like I did a lot of things through church and school back in the day, and I'm grateful for those experiences. And I always wanted to like get into acting and be an actress. I didn't like, oh, I'm gonna win an Oscar, you know, but it's like that's something I want to do just to express myself. And the fact that I got this opportunity was of a lady from my church. She was a part of casting, and she was like, "Hey, we're having a table reading for this movie. I would love for you to just read this character, do your best. You never know, it's not an audition, but just do your best." So I'm like, I'm just in character reading it, and they're like, "Oh, we want you to audition." So then I auditioned and I got the role. And so with that, was a great learning experience, and acting is like really fun. So I'm like, I want to keep doing that. And I do see myself doing like movie scoring as well. So it's all gonna tie into music, movie scoring, acting. That's why I've like dabbled into doing my own videos, just
Yeah.
trying to create my world and my own kind of personal resume. And hopefully in the future, I can score a film one day and act in it and all that type of good stuff.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, it definitely does help to kind of have your foot in every area of the entertainment industry, especially if you're pursuing your own career in music. So that's really
Mhm.
cool. You've also said that you're in the top 20 right now of the America's Next Top Hitmaker competition. Could you
Mhm.
tell us a little bit more about what that competition is and why you're competing in it?
Yeah, so America's Top Hitmaker is basically this company is teaming up with Rolling Stone for a lucky artist to win the full spread. It's like a spread in Rolling Stone and a chance to perform at the Global Citizen Festival and to win $50,000. And I saw the ad for it. And I was just like, let me do this. Like I don't do stuff like that, but I was just like, let me just do this and see what happens. And that's how like, oh, and it's all 20. That's like, okay, let me really push this. I know some people told me like, don't waste your time. You know, these is competitions. You don't want to look like an amateur. But I'm just like, no, I think it's a good chance to like just see what can happen and just like practice marketing. So that competition is awesome, but it's a lot of rounds. So now it's the top 15. I'm in the
Okay.
top 15, and they're just gonna keep breaking it down until it's the last three, and then they'll pick. And they won't announce that until August. That's why I'm like, ugh. I'm gonna do my best. I'm gonna keep promoting it, but if I don't win, I'm not gonna be like, oh, it's the end of the world. But
Yeah.
I would love to win. Like, I hope I win.
How would you feel like afterwards, and what would you do if you were chosen at the end?
If I were chosen at the end, I would take that money and fuel my career into marketing and putting my music in front of the ears that it needs to be. I
Mm.
will also take a portion of that money and revamp my home studio and
Mm.
actually get better and newer equipment. And I will also, pay off a little debt with it too. It will mostly like that would really help propel my career. Like I'll have the funds to really put into it without having to like slave 80 hours at my job. Like the job
Yeah.
can be for regular bills, but that can be strictly for music. And that
Yeah.
would greatly help me.
No, definitely. I can
Mhm.
hear some of your business entrepreneurship, music business degree going in that. That's very smart. We are kind of coming down on time now. So obviously we talked about your upcoming project when it all goes away. Is there any details about that of like a timeline or anything or
This fall,
Oh, okay, perfect. Amazing.
yeah.
Were there other projects or events that you'd like to shout out?
August 8th, I have my first show this year at the Epiphany Center for the Arts. Friday night, August 8th. We're still getting the details figured out, but it will be me and Blake Davis. That's the next big event I have coming up.
Awesome, amazing. Well, that's all for this episode. Thank you, Shanae, for being on the Limelight podcast. Please tell the people where they can find you.
You guys can find me everywhere at Schenay Mosley on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and Facebook.
Awesome. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you at the next one.
Bye. Thank you.